Here's a look at the Sniper EP from Hobby King, and the issue here is with regards to the landing gear. You can see that this is actually very loose. So what I'm going to do is reinforce this. Now the landing gear is actually pretty tall because it is a pusher airplane. And so the first thing I did was actually modified the wheels. And I simply took a 1/8 inch piece of brass and ran through them, and then used the spacers from props to go over it and CA those in place to make the hub a lot wider. And then with the piece of brass, you can see the wheel is actually pretty free, and it doesn't have the wobble to it that initially it had. You can see that's pretty tight, but it will roll, and it's not really perfectly true. It's not really perfectly round, but that's okay. I'm not really concerned about it. The main thing is to get the wobble out of it, and you can see here there's virtually very little wobble. Most of what you're hearing is it go from side to side, but at any rate, you can see there it's not perfectly round, but it's fine. The main thing right now is with this here. You can see this is actually very weak, and there's a couple of straps that go on here. I've already removed those, and so what I've done is I got in the CAD program and I used some 1/8 inch plywood, and I've made some braces, and these braces are actually going to go right there, and this one on the other side, so that you can see the axle is going to be trapped between the two pieces. Now also you might notice that there's a gap in the bottom, and what that gap is for, I already started this, and then I thought, well shoot, I ought to share this because somebody else may run into the same issue. If not with this airplane, maybe another one. So what I did was I took the landing gear and I put it in place, and then I taped the brace together so that it was on the gear. And then instead of marking it, I just took some masking tape and taped down the side. As you can see here, the first piece of tape goes down the side, and then the next piece of tape goes down the other side. And then I have two pieces of tape, this one here and this one here, which go across, marking the spot for this lug. And then the same thing here, I got a piece going across here and a piece going across here. And now I have the lug marked out, which would be here, and then the other one is here, and I've already removed the covering. And I'm using it's a pretty expensive bit, but it is for the Dremel, and it is a single cut or single flute router bit. It's a straight bit, and it does really well for doing this kind of work. You just have to work very slow and be patient. And you can see I've already dug out this one here, and it should be at about the right depth to accept this piece. Now obviously it's not going to go all the way down because it's setting up on this end here. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting these out, and I'm going to see if I can't let you see exactly what I'm doing here when I cut the other one out. First I mark the 4 points. Connect the 4 points. Now the wood is out, and now we just eat the foam out between them. Just like that. Back up here to this one, because this one was actually pretty tight. So again, just check the depth, make sure I eat up enough foam. And now this should fit in here. That would go there, and this one would go right beside it on the other side. just like that. Now you can see I have a really nice fit. And again, I don't have any marks on my wing right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is pop these back out. And now I'm going to cut my covering from this point to this point. And then you can see that I have about 1/4 of an inch on the front here. So I'm going to come back about 3/16 of an inch and cut out this part, and 3/16 in the back and cut out that part. Here you can see I've removed the covering so that I'm gluing the brace to the sheeting rather than to the covering. Here I've dry fit the brace to the wing, and you can see that in fact it is going to turn out pretty nice. So now I'm just going to mix up some epoxy, coat the inside of both sides of the brace, and then put some glue in my pockets, and then go ahead and glue the brace to the wing. At this point the glue's dried. I'm going to remove my clamps, and I've already installed the clips, and that is the finish. So you can see that my covering does run right up underneath the edge, but yet the glue is right there. So all in all, this turned out pretty good. Now it's a lot stiffer than it used to be. Here you can see the pockets have been cut and the covering has been cut away, and now I'm ready to test fit. Now here's a look at the other side as I wait for it to cure out. The wing is pretty thin, because if you look at it, you can see there's not a whole lot there. So that is how I went about fixing the landing gear and making it just a little bit stiffer on the Sniper EP.